Someone speaks too fast in English. Don't just smile and pretend. Say this. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
That one sentence can save the whole conversation. It is simple, natural, and much better than standing there with the famous polite smile that says, I understand nothing, but please continue.
And we have all done that smile. The other person is talking, you miss one important word, then two more words, and suddenly you are not in the conversation anymore. You are just nodding and hoping there will not be a question at the end.
Which is dangerous because there's always a question at the end.
Always. So today, we're talking about what to say when you don't understand English. Not because your English is bad, but because real conversation is fast. People speak quickly, use new words, change topics, and sometimes mumble like they're hiding the sentence from you.
The goal today is simple. Stay calm, ask for help naturally, and keep the conversation moving.
Let's start with the thing many learners do first, pretending to understand. You smile, you nod, maybe you say, yeah, but inside you're thinking, I missed everything after the first sentence.
I understand why people do it. Asking someone to repeat can feel embarrassing, especially when the other person seems confident or speaks very fast, feeling safer for 3 seconds.
But after those 3 seconds, it often becomes worse. The other person thinks you understood, so they keep going. Now you are lost, but the conversation is moving forward without you.
It's like getting on the wrong train and thinking, maybe this will somehow become my train later.
It usually does not.
No, it becomes more wrong.
So instead of pretending, you need repair phrases. These are short sentences that help you fix the conversation before it gets too confusing.
And the good news is, you do not need complicated English for this. Simple phrases work best.
The first situation is simple. You missed what the person said. Maybe the room was noisy, maybe they spoke too fast, maybe your brain was still translating the first part. The easiest sentence is, sorry, could you say that again?
This is probably one of the most useful phrases in real English. It is polite, clear, and normal. You can use it with a teacher, a coworker, a stranger, almost anyone.
A more casual version is, sorry, what was that? This is common in everyday conversation. It sounds natural, but it's a little more casual.
And if you heard the person but not clearly, you can say, I didn't catch that. That means I didn't hear or understand that part.
You can also combine them. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? That sounds calm and adult. You are not panicking, you are just fixing a small problem.
And that's important. The way you ask matters. If you ask calmly, the moment feels normal. Most people would just repeat the sentence and continue.
Let's hear a simple scene. Imagine you are at a coffee shop.
Do you want that for here or to go?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?
Sure, for here or to go.
Oh, to go, please.
That is a perfect repair. Nothing dramatic happened. The learner missed the question, asked again, and answered.
Here's another one at work.
Can you send me the file before lunch?
Sorry, what was that?
Can you send me the file before lunch?
Yes, of course. I'll send it before lunch.
That's how real conversation works. You don't need to understand everything the first time. You just need a way to recover.
Now, let's talk about a different problem. Sometimes the person repeats the sentence, but it is still too fast.
This is common. Some people repeat the sentence at the exact same speed with the same unclear pronunciation, and you think, thank you, but that was the same movie again.
In that case, you need to ask them to slow down. You can say, could you speak a little slower?
That sentence is useful because it is polite but direct. You are not saying, your English is impossible. You are saying, I need a slower speed.
You can make it even softer. Sorry, could you speak a little slower? I'm still learning English.
That is a great sentence for real life. It explains the situation without apologizing too much. You are not saying, my English is terrible. You are simply saying, I'm still learning.
Another natural sentence is, could you say it more slowly? That is also clear and polite.
And if you are in a friendly situation, you can say, sorry, that was a little fast for me. I like this one because it sounds honest and human.
It also makes the problem about speed, not intelligence. You are not saying, I cannot understand English. You are saying, that was fast.
Let's hear this in a real situation. Imagine you're talking to a classmate after class.
So, the teacher said we need to finish the reading and answer the questions before Friday, but only the questions on the second page.
Sorry, that was a little fast for me. Could you say it more slowly?
Of course, we need to finish the reading, then answer only the questions on the second page before Friday.
Okay, now I understand. Reading, second page, before Friday.
That last part is useful too. The learner repeated the important information, reading, second page, before Friday.
That helps you check your understanding. It also shows the other person that you are following now.
Sometimes you understand most of the sentence, but one word blocks everything. Maybe someone says, the schedule is flexible, and you think, I know schedule, but what is flexible?
This is where you should ask about the word directly. You can say, what does flexible mean?
Or, what does that mean? If you want to sound a little softer, say, what does that mean exactly?
The word exactly is helpful because it sounds like you are close to understanding. You just need a meaning to be clear.
You can also ask, can you explain that word? This is simple and direct.
And if you want to be very specific, you can say, what do you mean by flexible? That means, please explain this word in this situation.
That is useful because some words change meaning depending on the context. For example, light can mean not heavy, not dark, or not serious. English likes to do this to people.
English really does enjoy making one word do 5 jobs.
Let's use the word flexible.
My schedule is flexible.
What does flexible mean exactly?
It means my time can change. I don't have one fixed schedule.
Oh, so you can work in the morning or in the afternoon.
Right.
That is a strong way to learn in conversation. You ask about the word, hear the explanation, and then check it with your own example.
Here's another one.
This restaurant is pretty casual.
What do you mean by casual?
I mean, it is relaxed. You don't need formal clothes.
Oh, good. So jeans are okay.
Definitely.
That is natural. The learner did not stop the conversation. They used the unknown word as a small opening to understand more.
Now we need one more skill. Sometimes you understand part of the message, but you are not completely sure. This is when you check. A very useful phrase is, do you mean?
This phrase is powerful because it turns confusion into teamwork. You are saying, I think I understand. Let me check.
For example, someone says, we're moving the meeting up. You can ask, do you mean the meeting will be earlier?
That is smart because move up can be confusing. In English, phrasal verbs sometimes arrive just to ruin your peaceful day.
Very true. You can also say, so you mean, for example, so you mean I should arrive at 8, not 9?
Another clear phrase is just to check. For example, just to check, the meeting is at 8?
That sounds professional and natural. It is especially good at work because it shows that you care about getting the information right.
And that is important. Asking for clarification does not make you look stupid. In many situations, it makes you look careful.
Let's hear a work scene.
We're going to move the meeting up to 8:30.
Just to check, do you mean the meeting is earlier now?
Yeah, exactly. It was at 9, but now it's at 8:30.
Got it. 8:30.
That kind of checking is very useful. It takes 5 seconds and prevents a real mistake.
Here's a travel situation.
You need to get off at the second stop after the bridge.
Sorry, just to check, I cross the bridge, then get off at the second stop?
That's right.
Great, thank you.
Notice how calm that sounds. The learner did not say, "I'm lost, help me." They just checked the steps.
Now let's hear a longer conversation. Imagine someone is starting a new job and a coworker is explaining the office.
Hey, you must be Alex. I'm Jenna. I can show you around before the team meeting.
Thanks, Jenna. I appreciate it. It's my first day, so I'm trying to understand everything.
Totally normal. The office is not too complicated, but people use a lot of short names for things.
That is good to know. If I look confused, that's probably why.
We all looked confused on day one. So this is the main workspace. The kitchen is on the left, and the small meeting rooms are behind the glass wall.
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part. The meeting rooms are where?
Behind the glass wall, over there.
Oh, I see them now. Thanks.
No problem. Also, if you need IT help, you can open a ticket online.
What does open a ticket mean exactly?
It means you send a request in the system. For example, if your computer doesn't work, you create a ticket and IT helps you.
Oh, okay. So it is like asking for help online, but inside the company system.
Right, you got it.
Good. I have heard the word ticket for trains and movies, but not for computer problems.
English loves reusing words. It saves energy and creates confusion.
That is a very efficient problem.
Exactly. Now, the team meeting is usually at 10, but today we moved it up to 9:30.
Just to check, moved it up means it's earlier?
Right, earlier. So today it starts at 9:30.
Got it. 9:30.
And after that, your manager will probably walk you through their onboarding checklist.
Sorry, that was a little fast for me. Could you say it more slowly?
Of course, after the meeting, your manager will show you the onboarding checklist. It's a list of things new employees need to do.
Okay, that helps. What does onboarding mean exactly?
Onboarding means the process of joining a new company, learning the tools, meeting people, setting up your accounts, things like that.
So, onboarding is the beginning process for a new worker.
That's a good way to say it.
Thanks. I might ask a lot of questions today.
Ask as many as you need. It's better to pretend and then get lost later.
I've done that before. I call it smiling with fear.
A classic workplace skill. Not recommended, but very common.
I'm trying to retire from it.
Good plan.
One more question. If someone says something in the meeting and I don't understand, is it okay to ask?
Of course. You can say, "Sorry, could you explain that?" Or, "Could you say that another way?" Those are good meeting phrases.
I like, could you say that another way? It sounds less scary than, I don't understand anything.
Much less scary. And honestly, sometimes other people are confused too. They're just waiting for someone brave to ask.
That makes me feel better. Maybe my confusion can be useful.
Sometimes it really can. A good question can help the whole room.
So, if you remember only 3 ideas from today, remember these. Ask again, slow it down, and check what you understood.
If you missed something, say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." If the person is too fast, say, "Could you speak a little slower?" And if you're not sure, say, "Do you mean?"
Those phrases are small, but they can keep many conversations alive.
And here's your question for the comments. What do you usually do when you don't understand English?
Write one simple sentence you can use next time. For example, "Sorry, could you say that again?"
Choose one phrase and make it yours.
Thanks for listening. You do not need to pretend when you don't understand. You can ask, repair, and keep going.
See you next time.